With all the products that are out there on the market right now for curly hair, it can be really difficult, confusing, and overwhelming to choose the right products for your hair. There's always a new product that's promising frizz-free curls for days, and many times we are disappointed by the results. Or maybe you're just brand new to embracing your curls and you're really overwhelmed by all of the options that are out there. So today we're diving into a really important topic, choosing the right products for your hair. If you're new here, I'm Delilah and my channel is all about simplifying curly hair care so you can finally love your curls without spending a ton of time or money on them. I promise you that choosing the right products does not have to be confusing, overwhelming, or time consuming. There is a better way than just trying all the things and figuring out what works. So today I'm going to share what you need to know about your hair before you even look for any products, what you want to look for in a product, and how to match products to your hair type and needs. And at the end of the video, I'll share the order of curly hair products so you know exactly how to layer them for the results that you want. So first, we have to figure out what is your hair type and what are your needs. So we can forget about curl pattern because curl pattern doesn't matter, it doesn't mean anything, doesn't give us any helpful information. Nobody cares what your curl pattern is. Maybe you do, but it doesn't really matter for anything else. So I want you to ask yourself a couple of questions so you can get a better idea of what your hair type and needs are. Think about your hair in general, especially as your hair behaves without products. You really want to think about how your hair is with zero products in it. How does it feel? How does it react? How does it behave in certain conditions? Think about it in that sense. So, does your hair have color or heat damage? That's really important. Is your hair fine or coarse or somewhere in between? And that just means how skinny the individual strands are. If they're really, really skinny and thin, they're fine. If they're thicker, then they're coarse. And then there's medium right in between. Do you have high or low density hair? Meaning, do you have a lot of hair, high density, or a little bit of hair, low density, which is when you can really see a lot of the scalp and you just don't have a lot of hair, like you can grab it all into a really small ponytail. And then there's in between. The middle part really is not super important. If you fall in between some of these, then that's a little easier to work with. But it's important to know if you're on one end or the other for these things that I'm talking about. Does your hair get weighted down easily? Super important because then you're gonna know that you need to go for lighter products or heavier products. Do you live in an environment that has either really humid or really dry conditions at certain times of the year or even throughout the entire year? That's important to consider for your products as well. And then you want to think about your lifestyle. And if you are somebody who spends a lot of time outdoors, if you pick up your hair often, you have to put it up for work, if you work out a lot, if you prefer to wash and style your hair daily versus have your hair last as long as possible, these are things you want to consider because different products serve different purposes. So if you are somebody who wants to fuss less with your hair and have your style last longer, then you know you want to work with products that provide a stronger hold. And if you are somebody that prefers a fluffier, more lived-in look and you don't mind washing your hair more often, then you can go for that softer, wavy, fluffy look with lighter hold products. So all of these things that I just talked about, I want you to take a moment to consider. If you're doing this right now, go ahead and write down some notes and write down your answers to all of these questions. It's okay if you don't 100% know all of these. You just have to have an idea somewhere to start with because as you start working with your hair, you will learn about it over time and you can refine these and you can realize that maybe you were wrong about something and it will change, and that's okay. Also, your hair will change over time. My hair has changed a lot since I started embracing my curls 10 years ago, and that's gonna happen to you. So as your hair changes, you need to reassess and you will likely need to change products. So that is normal. If you're totally confused, you need a little more help, you can always go to the curly hair type quiz on my website, which I have linked in the description below. It's gonna ask you a couple of questions, kind of like what I talked about right now, and then it'll spit out a result. It's a little more general, not very personalized, but it'll give you an idea somewhere to start with along with some product suggestions. Now let's talk about the essential products you need. So you know your hair type, you know what you need. These are the types of products that you need. This is gonna help you because there's so many products out there, so many products we don't need that brands just invent and make up because they want our money. So a lot of the stuff you don't necessarily need and maybe you think you need more than you really do. Here is the list of essential products. You need something to wash your hair, to cleanse your hair. So a low poo shampoo, which is just a sulfate-free shampoo, a clarifying shampoo, something that is much stronger, that has something like a sulfate or olefin sulfonate in it to remove the buildup. You can have a co-wash if you want. This is totally optional, and I generally do not recommend co-washes. They don't work on most people. There are certain situations where co-washes work. If you know they work for you, then great. But for most people, it's a skip. Conditioners, this is what you're going to use after you wash your hair, whether you shampoo with a regular low poo shampoo or a clarifying shampoo, you're going to follow up with a conditioner that you're going to rinse out. Then you need at least one styling product with hold. Key here is one styling product with hold. That is something like a mousse, a gel, a custard, a jelly. Like there's so many different names for these kinds of things, but you want something that provides hold. So creams and leave-in conditioners are not styling products that I would ever recommend you use on their own. Those are things you layer underneath your styling product with hold. Then if your hair is damaged or dry, you want a deep conditioner. There are different types of masks and deep conditioners out there, so you just have to find something that is suitable for your hair type and your needs. Okay, so those are the basics. Those are the things that you basically need. You can have more than that if you want, but this is the minimum you want. A shampoo, a clarifying shampoo, a conditioner, at least one styling product with hold, and optional is a deep conditioner, mask, or treatment if your hair needs it. So you don't need a ton of products to start, and a lot of times less is more. This is how you learn about your hair, because if you start just grabbing a bunch of products and trying a bunch of things, you really do confuse yourself and you confuse your hair. It's better to start with less and learn more about your hair. It's so important to pay attention to the little changes you notice in your hair, the way it feels when you apply certain products, when you rinse things out, the little subtle differences in the way that it looks after you're done styling, the longevity of your style over a couple of days. Like there's so many little things that you can pay attention to give you clues as to what your hair wants and needs that doesn't involve just trying different products all the time. Also, I want to point out that you do not need to worry about individual ingredients. And what I mean is by saying like, oh, I'm going to avoid all products that have sulfates, or all products that have glycerin, or all products that have aloe or protein, or whatever the individual ingredient is that you want to avoid. There's no need for that, because I've talked about this in some videos, but a product is a result of the formulation of many different ingredients and how they work together. And individual ingredients behave a certain way on their own, but when you mix them with other things, that completely changes the behavior of that ingredient, and it's not going to have the same result. So you cannot really say that a product doesn't work on your hair because of one ingredient that's in that product. It is possible, yes, and especially if you have an allergy, that definitely can be the case. But I see this a lot in the curly hair community, where people will look at a product, this didn't work for me, oh, it's got glycerin in it, that's why it doesn't work. That's not how it works. So don't worry about individual products. You want to look at a product and say, this product works for me, or this product doesn't work for me, and it's all down to the formulation. Okay, step 3, this is the big one. This is now we're talking about choosing products for your individual hair type. So now you know your hair type, you know what your hair needs, and you know which types of products you need. So how do we choose the right products? So here are some tips that I'm going to give you to help you kind of narrow down the different products out there. So in general, damaged hair will need more moisture. And by damaged hair, this can be heat damage, chemical damage, coloring damage, spending time outside in the sun, swimming a lot like in chlorine or salt water. That hair is getting damaged, and you're going to need more moisture and protein. Fine, low density and low porosity hair generally does better with lighter products. And lighter products are products that are low on the moisture level and don't have ingredients that tend to build up on the hair, like polyquats and emollients, which are like waxes, oils, butters, that kind of stuff. Thick and high density hair may require heavier products and will definitely require layering or just sectioning your hair into smaller sections as you style. You're going to have to apply more product to this type of hair than other types of hair. Everybody needs to clarify at least once a month. There are no exceptions to this. What clarifying shampoo you use can depend. Some people need a stronger clarifier than others, but you definitely need to be clarifying at least once a month. Deep conditioning is totally dependent on your individual situation. For some people, they can do once a month. Some people do once a week. It really just depends. If your hair is not damaged, you do not need to deep condition. I do not deep condition. I stopped deep conditioning years ago. There's no need. My hair is healthy. It's fine. It doesn't need anything. So there's no need to do any treatments if your hair is healthy. If you're trying to save money, you can totally use your regular conditioner as your leave-in conditioner. Technically, they are formulated a little differently, but it does work to leave in a little bit of your conditioner or use it as a leave-in if you use just a very small amount. So that's totally an option if you're like really budget conscious and you don't want to buy a separate product. Usually most people can do okay with one styling product. You just have to make sure that you apply enough of it, it's evenly distributed through your hair, and it's the right product. So generally, if you're gonna use one styling product, I recommend something like a gel or a custard, because those are going to give you definition, longevity, and frizz control. But you can definitely layer things that are kind of like a light product over a heavier or more hold product, like a mousse in a gel, foam in a gel, cream in a mousse, cream in a gel, stuff like that can work. Now, how can you tell if a product is moisturizing, light, heavy, provides hold? This is tricky, and this is something that comes with time. You're not gonna know this right away. So this is going to be something that you kind of just have to be like, okay, I don't know this yet. So it's a little bit of just spending time examining products and how they feel on your hair and noticing the ingredients in them for you to learn over time, oh, these are the things that are associated with more moisture, or these are the things that are associated with more hold. Reading through my blog, watching videos, other curly content creators, you can definitely learn like that too. But again, that takes time. You're not going to sit here for hours upon hours and watch everything and consume it all. It's too much information for you at one point. Also, you can't rely on what a product says on its packaging, because that's just marketing. Brands can say whatever they want on the front of a package. They can say, here's a hard hold gel. The way you do know is by looking at the ingredients list, but you're not going to know that right off the bat. I know because I've been doing this for years. I know which ingredients are ingredients that provide hold, and I have seen many products that claim to be hard hold. And when I look at the ingredients list, they've got one medium hold ingredient in the middle of the list. That is not a hard hold product. So you cannot take their claims at face value, and you have to just kind of know that going in. What the point I'm trying to make is I want you to be an informed consumer, and it takes time to get there, so don't feel bad. One way that you can tell if a product is lightweight or heavy or has a certain level of hold is by using the product searching guide that's on my website, which I'm going to talk a little more about later in the video. The next point I want to make is before you go out and buy a bunch of products, try to use what you already have. There's no need to use specific curly hair products on your hair. You can use the shampoo you have on hand, you can use the conditioner you have on hand. You may just need to go out and buy styling products, because usually I find when people are switching from not embracing their curls to embracing their curls, they don't have the right type of styling products, which is things that add definition and control frizz. So don't go out and buy a bunch of products. I would focus on just your styling products. Now, let's talk about the different product types so you can have a better idea of what the purposes are of each product and see which are the ones that you actually need. So first we have leave-in and cream, which usually is the first thing that you're going to apply. And these are products that you're going to apply if you need to lock in extra moisture and add a little bit of definition. Now, do understand that when you're using leave-in and cream, you're reducing the hold of your styling products you apply after that. And leave-in conditioner is generally lighter than a cream. Next, we have foams and mousses, and they are not the same thing. Mousses usually are lightweight products that define, add hold, and control frizz. Foams typically will add texture to the hair, making it less soft, a little more gritty, and that's usually used to add volume, typically in the root area, but it can be used throughout the hair. But it's not going to give you any hold, so that's not something that I generally recommend you use on its own. Then we have gels and custards and anything that's kind of like a jelly texture, and these are the ones that are pretty universal. I think works on any hair type as long as you choose the right formulation. So gels are going to be drier than things like custards. Custards are a little bit more moisturizing, and these will define your hair, control the frizz, and add longevity to your style. So those are all the things that we want, right? We want to reduce frizz. We want to have our style last as long as possible. We want to define our curls and enhance our curls. And so a gel is the one product, and mousses, actually gels and mousses are the two products that will do all of those things. Then we have volumizing and texturing products, which foams typically fall into this category as well, but we also have sprays and powders and other things that we can add to the hair. And these are products that add grit and roughness to the hair texture. So it typically is for people who want volume, people whose hair is so soft that it falls flat very quickly. And so this grittiness, making the hair a little more texturized, will help the style last a little longer, and it will add some volume to the hair. But again, your hair is not going to be soft. So if you don't like that feeling, then you want to avoid texturizing products. Then we have serums and sprays, which are kind of all over the place. There's serums for all kinds of things. Some go before products, some go after products, some are treatments. For sprays, typically we're talking about things like a hairspray, which is usually like a setting product that adds hold. So for those, I recommend that you just look at the information on the product to see what the purpose of it is and see if it's something that works for you. For most people, you don't really need these things. Okay, now if you want a really easy way to find products, I have something on my website. It's a curly product database, and it's somewhere where you can go and you can search for products and see which hair types they work for. So there's a free version that I'm currently working on. It's not fully done. And then there's a paid version. The paid version is really great because then you can search by different parameters like your exact hair type, budget, ingredients. You can filter out by different ingredient types. I mean, that one just gives you everything you need. And then the free version is just, it's got fewer search parameters. So let me show you how I would search for a product. If I'm looking for a styling product for my hair, this is how I would search for it. So here is the login page, and I'm going to scroll down. There's a little tutorial here, but I'm going to scroll down to the search area, and I'm going to put in the different things that I am searching for. So my hair is easily over conditioned. It is fine. And low density and low porosity. I think I'm going to leave it at that. I don't want to put too many parameters. Here in the ingredients, you can search for all kinds of things. I don't really have any ingredients that I want to avoid or search by, so I'm not going to select anything in this category. For the budget, I'm going to leave alone. And product type, I want a styling product, so I'm going to scroll over to gel and mousse. I'm going to tap gel and mousse. It's going to show me only the gels and the mousses that are for my exact hair type. And so I'm going to come down and start scrolling, and here I can see the first option is this Bouclem Seal and Shield Curl Defining Gel. I'm going to tap on See More. And here I can see all the hair types that it works for. The buildup potential is low, which is something that's really important to me because things build up in my hair very easily, so it's good to know. Hold level is medium, which is good. I like medium to strong. Medium is my minimum. Any imported ingredients are highlighted here, so I don't particularly avoid any ingredients, but if you are, like, for example, trying to avoid aloe or fragrances, or you just generally want to know, like, this has protein, this has glycerin, then that information is here for you. Other important information that might be important for you, things like if it's curly girl friendly, if it's vegan, cruelty free, stuff like that. Moisture level, super important for certain hair types. So this is lightweight, which is excellent for me. So I know this is a good option for me. Then we have our shopping links and any coupon code or notes underneath. So I'm going to close this out and keep scrolling. And so you can see there are many different options here. I can tap See More and it keeps going. So I just wanted to show you one way. If you're really overwhelmed and you want a tool like this, then that's something that you can grab. I'm going to link to it in the description below. A couple things that I want you to know as you are trying different products and choosing your products is you want to try a product multiple times before you decide it doesn't work for you. I always say try it in different ways. So try using more or less of the product, try using the product on wetter or less wet hair, try using the products with a brush, without a brush, try layering it with different products. So there's a lot of different tweaks you can make. A lot of times a product doesn't work or you get different results because maybe you just didn't apply it enough or you didn't distribute it evenly like you thought you did. Like, there's so many little things that can affect how it comes out. So definitely you want to try it a couple of times before you decide it doesn't work for you. Remember that you only need a couple of products, 4 to 5 products, shampoo, conditioner, a leave-in is optional, a styling product, and maybe a treatment product. So don't go crazy shopping for a bunch of products. It's also a really good idea to track your routine for a few months so you can get a better understanding or have a better understanding of how certain products are working on your hair over time, how your hair is reacting with the environment. If you're recording stuff like the products you use, the application methods, and you record the weather, and then you can notice differences as you look back on it and say, oh, I'm noticing that on the days that the weather was a certain way, my hair had these characteristics. And so you can glean a lot of important information if you just track for a couple of weeks to a couple of months. So now that you know how to choose the right products, what is your next step? If you really want to build a curly hair routine that works for you, then you want to watch this video next. It's called How to Layer Products on Curly Hair, and you'll learn the order to apply your products to give you the best results. Just click the video you see on your screen and I'll see you there.